Welcome back to Women's Health Talks with Claire. Our final session for this month of April. We are finishing our chat about mental health for women with my final tip, which is sleep. And the irony is sleep should be improved by everything we've talked about today. So eating well, movement and connectivity with other humans. So this is like the final piece of the puzzle, but it's also the end result of what will happen with everything you've done to date, if you've done all those things. So without to put too fine a point on how important sleep is, because women generally, they're sleeping less, they have more trouble sleeping, more trouble staying asleep. They prioritize sleep less. A lot of the time they're doing chores and after kids, faring back and forth and working on top of that. And they're also more prone to insomnia. But sleep is important, not just because it's healthy, right? Sleep is, it can exacerbate mental health conditions. So it can make depression, anxiety worse, flare up bipolar disease, but it can also cause those things if you're in deficit for long enough. And it can also contribute to developing things like heart disease, diabetes, and other mental health conditions. So it's like, it is a really big deal, and women especially have a hard time of it. And there's a number of reasons for this, which I could probably sum up in one word, which is hormones. And just because I've said the word hormones doesn't take away from the importance of it. Like, I don't say hormones and mean it in a condescending way. But basically, every metamorphosis our body goes through, puberty, pregnancy, postnatal, menopause, there is a shift in hormones which will affect our sleep patterns. For some of us for the better, for some of us for the worse. So even your menstrual cycle, some women will sleep better in their follicular phase, others will sleep better in their luteal phase because of the calming brain effects of progesterone. Your eating habits will affect your sleep because of the hormone insulin, your response to your blood sugar rising and dropping. So if you're eating shitty food, it can disrupt your sleep, and then disrupted sleep can also disrupt your blood sugars, which will knock on effect to craving shitty food. So everything works in a cycle, and the goal with this is to hit a flatter line or a calmer wave of hormonal fluctuations. Cortisol, otherwise known as your stress hormone, is also responsible for waking you in the mornings and keeping you awake during the day. And towards the end of the day, your cortisol is supposed to drop off and your melatonin rises, and that helps you fall asleep and stay asleep. However, chronic stress is characterized by chronically high levels of cortisol, which can stop you falling asleep and interrupt your sleep. So what do we do about this? So as I said before, the 3 tips I've given you this week already, this month already, movement, connection, and eating for nourishment will all help you sleep better. So that will just happen. But there are some other things you can do to promote sleep and get better at it if those things aren't enough. Number 1, vibrate. So if you are using whole body vibration like the Power Plate, with your app, so you've got your connection, you're moving in synchronicity with someone, whole body vibration has been shown in a number of studies. It can alleviate symptoms of restless legs for people who have restless leg syndrome. It can improve respiratory function in people suffering sleep apnea. And it can also improve the management of the factors that are affecting sleep in people with metabolic syndrome. So as we saw, that was one of the risk factors for heart disease as well. So not just that, but vibrating is movement. If you're using your app, vibrating is also connection. And if you go and eat an apple with peanut butter afterwards, you're eating healthy and you've ticked all the boxes. It's a massive bang for buck. Other things you can do to help with sleep is stick to a schedule that's not just the time you go to sleep and the time you wake up. It's also a ritual around going to bed, such as having a bath, reading, meditating, etc. Only sleep in your bedroom. Leave work, all your devices, your to-do list, everything else outside. Although if you're someone that has a to-do list running constantly in their head, you might find a notepad and paper beside your bed useful to jot it all down so you can put it to bed and go to sleep. Stay cool. Your body temperature drops a full degree when you're asleep, and you can actually help it drop by not overheating yourself in the bedroom. You need to address stress. So all those things we've done to this point to boost mental health will also reduce stress. But other techniques or other tools you can utilize are meditation, mindfulness, and then please go see a GP or a psychologist or a counselor if you can't get on top of it and you're still not sleeping. All right, you don't just deal with it. It is not normal. Take care of yourself. And the last tip that will help with sleep is brain training. And not in the obvious sense, like little things like keeping a gratitude journal, and there's games you can play to increase the complexity of your brain that actually help build resilience. And when you're more resilient, you're less triggered by stressful things. So thriving mental health, which is what we're after this month, movement, connectivity or moving in synchronicity, eating for nourishment, and prioritizing sleep.